All right, so welcome to H2O Mondays. A little slow getting started. It's been an interesting Monday. H2O Mondays was started to make sure we stay hydrated. A couple of years ago, I suffered from a little, hi, Lakaya, welcome. I'm so glad to see
Hi,
you. I had
Angela.
you on my mind. And I won't hear you because I'm gonna do it without the mic. When we do our private session, then I'll put the headsets on. So thank
Okay.
you for joining. Ping Kenya, see if she joins us. That would be great. It's to make sure we stay hydrated. We're predominantly water in our bodies. The planet is predominantly water. We need it for our health reasons. We need it for cleanliness, everything. We cook with it. I mean, we could not live without water on the planet. And also, the two Harriets in my life, Harriet Hainsworth, you hear me mention her all the time. She's a DNA ancestor, and Harriet Tubman. And then because of Habit 2, I've been a Seven Habits facilitator for several years, since 1999. And I appreciate these habits that we have. I have a following with the habits. Matter of fact, with IBM, they're like, "There's the seven habits, lady." So it's actually, what are our habits and are they healthy? So thank you for joining. We've only got two more sessions after this. The other names I wanted to mention in reference to having so many people transition in life, and other people besides us are going through losses. Rosalyn Carter passed away. Um, she was in her 90s. She was born in Plains, Georgia, and died in Plains, Georgia. I always like to see where people were born and where they passed. So she left where she was born. That's very interesting, that for her to have been a first lady and she landed right back where she started. Henry Kissinger, he was 100 years old. He was a former Secretary of State. I remember him like it was yesterday. And then our first woman Supreme Court justice has made her transition as well, Sandra Day O'Connor at 93. So it's the begin with the end in mind. Imagine if you were at your 80th birthday or your 90th birthday. These people were at their 90th birthday, and who was there with them, and what did they say, and how were they honored? And that's what H2O Mondays are about, beginning with the end in mind. It's in reference to how you want your legacy to be. These people have a legacy. So what do we want our legacy to be? And they might have had children and husbands and all of that, but they had their life in their own right, besides being a mother or a father or whatever their roles were. These people actually stood for something in their own individual uniqueness on the planet. So if they added to someone's life, as far as a husband, a wife, or children or grandchildren, they actually added to the world beyond their own families. And that's really what we're all here to do. Our families are important, but the world is our family. We are all citizens and sisters and brothers of this entire planet. So we are to act like it. And that's what these people did. So I honor them. First things first, you can go to myhappyacademy.org and read the credo, as Mother Teresa's recipe for peace. I honor that. She's one brilliant woman. She never got married, never had any kids, and she was all our mothers. So I really appreciate her. So read her on a daily basis, especially as we go into the holiday seasons. We're coming out of Thanksgiving and we're going into Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and all the days that are honored during the month of December. So there's a pretty long one. I wanted to read this one for first things first, because that's the action. Once we pause from being proactive and instead of being reactive, we begin with the end in mind, which is habit 2. A lot of these names that I said began with the end in mind. And then this is for putting first things first. That's the action. We're going to put in action what we prefer rather than something reactionary. So bear with this one. It's a little long. Discouragement is being lost in the woods. And we are having another person join us on Zoom. Welcome, Kenya. Discouragement is being lost in the woods without a compass or an accurate map. It's discovering that many of the maps people have in hand leads us away from where we really want to go. Courage, on the other hand, comes in the result of knowing there are principles or fulfilling or our needs and capacities to balance ways of living and having a clear vision, balancing between roles and the ability to set and achieve meaningful goals. The perceptions to transcend urgency moments into using our character and our competence and to act in integrity in the moment of choice. The abundance mentality to function effectively and synergistically in interdependent reality. Courage comes from the heart, and being in touch with the heart creates hope. So it really kind of fits the people that we talked about today and what we're doing. Our whole point of living is with habit two. I hope we all have our mission statements. We were supposed to work on that for the year. Hey, I have a classmate from college on. So I hope everybody's got their mission statement for the year. I'm going to check with my audience online when we get online. But for those of you, when we go into the next year, we're going to start to put these mission statements into action because a lot of us are going to start to do what do we do at the beginning of the year? We create a list of what we're going to do and our resolutions for the new year. And I don't think I'm going to be doing those New Year resolutions anymore because what I've been hearing statistically that we go in gung ho for the first month or two, and then by the third month, we're not even doing what we said we were going to do anymore. So those days are kind of behind me with that. Every day is a new day for me. What I do try to plant in I do try to do habit 7, which is sharpen the saw. That's take care of yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, and social emotionally. I wear a little saw on my charm bracelet. I want to show it to you guys. And that's actually to take care of yourself. You got to stop and sharpen the saw. You have to stop and put gas in the car. All of those things have to happen or you stop running. So sharpening the saw is taking care of yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, and social emotionally. So you take care of the temple, which is mind, body, and soul, but then you take care of who is around you. So as we're going into the holidays, some of us are going to be around family. Some of us are going to be around friends. We can pick our friends, but we can't necessarily pick our family. So a lot of people have been adjusting to how they're going to do with family. Some people are saying they're staying in hotels instead of staying at the house. So they'll show up for dinner, and everybody's planning their ways of trying to be around those that they want to show love to, but may have some challenges. Hey, Avis, welcome. We got Kenya and Lakaya on. Feels like home week this week.
Lovely.
So with that said, let's continue with what's going on out in the world with the holiday season coming up. Um, I love October. This was my calendar for the year. Hocus pocus. I don't know whether you see that. What it did though, it kept telling me what the full moons were, and we just had a full moon. Another calendar that I had, because I have Birds of a Feather, the book, was this one. And so, what I wanted to share with you, and I want everybody to kind of consider as they go into the new year, my prayer partner and I are doing a 40-day uh, treatment. And that's we're praying for 40 days, and we're doing it because in the new year, I'm going to have more offerings on aligning ourselves with abundance, not just abundance with prosperity and money, because wealth is important. But if we have wealth and we don't have our health, what's the good is the money? So we want to align ourselves with abundance when it's prosperity in our finances, our bank account, but also in this kingdom, this body right here, the sharpen the saw. So we'll be using different books like Creating Money, Spiritual Economics, and then just what our basics habits are and the power of decision. So what we're doing right now is just aligning ourselves. I've got a money treatment I'll share with those who decide to do the class. And for 40 days, we're doing the money treatment, but we're also doing the 365, which I close out our online session with. So those who don't join the online, you do get to hear that prayer because I do close with that. So as we begin with the end in mind, my mission statement is Carpe Diem, seize the day. We're gonna check online with yours, and anybody who's on Facebook who wants to share what their mission statement is, you can pop it up there, and I can see it. And as we go into the future, I want you to kind of get a little braver, Facebook people, and get logged on to Zoom so we can actually have some dialogue and write and script together. So this information just doesn't last for the few minutes that we're on the phone, because when we start to write, it will last us longer. It's something about writing things down. So with that said, let me make sure I gave you all the notes that I wanted to tell you today. Oh, one of the begin with the end in mind. This is kind of an anniversary date for me. Those who have been following my journey and my life, um, it was this day, December 4th, that I discovered who my actual biological father's actual name was. So this will probably always be an anniversary date for me. I actually decided to set up my website called GoDaddy that day. And then that night, a biological daddy came along. So I will never forget this date. So with that said, I will be doing some workshops with people that have discovered some of their heritage later in life, because I think that's why ancestral.com came along. I had a genealogist that came along, and a lot of people are discovering their family members, siblings, sisters, brothers, grandparents, things that happened that affects us today, because our DNA, there are a lot of people that kind of do what their ancestors did, whether they met them or not. They might have been a teacher and they're a teacher too, and they never met their great grandfather. They're a minister and their grandmother was a minister too. So, they were warriors, they were activists, they were all these things that you're doing today, but it's kind of in your DNA. So with that said, let's watch the fun movies. I want us to laugh a lot during this holiday season. I don't know whether you're still playing DVDs, but my regular TV is showing Alf, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, The Christmas Vacation. My favorite is A Wonderful Life and Charlie Brown's Christmas. That's come on a few times. And The Christmas Story, some people like that. And if we laugh a lot, I think as we bring into this holiday season, whatever we're going, whatever we're doing, we will actually bring that joy into the houses that we go to, and people will bring that joy into our home as well. If you do have a bad day, or something does occur with the shopping and the people out here in the world, just pause and breathe. Remember to be proactive in those moments, because everybody's got something going on. It may look like it's towards you, and it could be towards you because they're angry. But usually, when someone's actually projecting out or being hurtful towards you, there's something hurtful in them. So stop and remember to just send some love. That might be the hardest thing to do when somebody's trying to cut you off, or they got your last parking space at the mall, or they got the last sweater that you wanted, or all those things that occur, not enough money coming in, whatever it is, just pause and remember that this season is really about bringing peace and love and joy and patience into the world. And if there's a little gift you want to top on that, that's cool. But it's really about the joy and the love that you bring into the world. So, with that said, I'm going to just close this out a little bit earlier tonight. Work on your mission statement. I'm going to have a couple of questions for you next week, into what your talents are as you go into the new year, because some of us are looking for jobs, and some of us are letting go of jobs, and some of us are renewing our jobs. And one of the things that's happening with Happy Academy, we have a quest, and I've got so many people. I've got 8 books so far for the Christmas giveaway. So thank you everyone who is donating to this cause. Our goal is 50. So I'm just piling them up. I can't wait for you to see 50 in my hand. And some are actually sending them to the other option that we have, to the restaurant where my assistant is helping out. And she actually sent me something today where some people are donating there too. And this is for children that's in the hospital during the holidays. You never really think about about that. I didn't think about that before until I was actually in the hospital during Thanksgiving one year, and I wasn't having a baby, and it was the first time I had ever been in the hospital. I was like, this has got to be a weird place to be during a holiday season. So children of all ages were loving on you, but our smaller children that are away from their parents or away from what they routinely would be doing during the holidays, we want to give them some special love. So thank you, all my sponsors that are helping with this quest. This is such a loving thing that you're doing to help Happy Academy and Birds of a Feather to get out there in the world. So we'll see you in a week. And anybody who wants to join online, go to myhappyacademy.org. Thank you, Facebook. Hi, everybody.
What it is.
This feels so cool. Look at my people.
I love it.
Guys,
Sorry I
went to
came on
CSL
late.
Midtown yesterday. That's so funny.
Yeah, how was that? I'm really sad to hear that they're, in
I-
the
it's girl is nothing like what we were. I'm
I
telling
mean,
you.
it wasn't when I left. It was
No place is CSL West Jordan, no place. SLC, no place. What we had does not exist anymore.
I agree. I went like I was on crack. So
I did too.
I did. I did. I was not gonna miss a Sunday. It was a good routine for me. I get up, I work out, I go to the center, I come back and get ready for the week. And I learned so much from Paul. It's like no way to even explain it. I learned things that I knew. It was just kind of like reconfirming things that I already knew and then lining them up with Ernest Holmes. And I just definitely.
Okay, we had a full house tonight. I didn't stop the recording. We were talking about how our centers have changed. I started out with the Atlanta Church of Religious Science, and it was huge and wonderful. Thank you, Kennedy Schultz. And then it went to Paul Gagne, and I was on that board, and it turned to the Spiritual Living Center Atlanta. And then it went to the Center for Spiritual Living Midtown. And so I know that we are all growing spiritually out there. And I appreciate the banter that we had. Lakaya was saying how much she learned from Paul. He was my teacher. And I know that we are still out here learning. We're becoming the teachers. And we have students out there that we want to know that happiness and peace is for you. So we closed out with this. I want to close out with you with this. And please start to donate to Happy Academy. I'm a part of that legacy that this is a spiritual, physical, mental, emotional walk, and we want it to be as healthy as possible. So for December 4th, let's make me conscious of my responsibility. And anytime I say my, me, any of those I's, take it for yourself. And from the Quran, it says, O ye who believe, ye have charged over your own souls. The Quran. The creative process which gave me life expects me to use it rightly. My life is not my own making. It is a destiny and a purpose, or it has a destiny and a purpose. I turn confidently to the source of my being and let it reveal why I am here and what it has planned for me to do. The life which gave me birth must know how to produce in me and through me what it has in mind. I am not an accident of birth. My appearance in these times is a part of the divine plan and the divine design. In my present world, right where I am, I have a mission and a purpose. I now let mind create me out of itself and reveal to me my purpose and what should I do today. In the minutest details of today, I shall fulfill the reason for my being. I accept my responsibility to think rightly about myself, my fellow man, and the world in which I live. Within me, great ideas are being born, and I let them manifest in my mind, body, and affairs, and I do not pollute them with fear or doubt. I see them as divine in origin and possibly in expression. Coming from God, they move through me into form. I behold my fellow man as free, and I no longer impose my viewpoints upon him. I know that God in him will lead him into right ways of success and happiness. I know I have no condemnation for the world in which I live. God made it, and I know how to operate in it. I live in a world with ease and rejoicing in the good that it has for me. There is so much that is heavenly and perfect in my life. I see this and believe this, and it increases this. As I accept the responsibility and act and react as a spiritual being, I find all of life cooperating with me. No more strain to succeed, no more trying to make things happen. My only duty is to let the action of God to take place through me, and this I do. My right place is always where I am, and my right work is to do the will of him who sent me. Freely, I give my whole mind over to the divine wisdom and the divine power. And so it is, and now it is. Namaste. See you in a week. Thank you.